Hey Yogi, welcome to class. If you're new to the channel, I'm Rhi and this is Burghley, welcome. And if you are returning then, welcome back. Before we jump into class, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do. It just helps us to grow. And if at the end of class you enjoyed the practice, please hit the like button. Thank you for doing those things. That just helps us to grow our absolutely tiny little place in the YouTube universe. That being said, for class today, I've got a blanket which I just kind of like sometimes to sit on for any kind of seated postures. It's just nice to elevate the hips a bit. So if you know that you also, maybe need a little bit of help opening through the hips like me, then grab yourself a cushion or a blanket. We may use them throughout the practice. Or alternatively a block. It's not as comfy, but it can help to just elevate you. You're not going to need anything else. If you know you want to practice with blocks, then of course grab them, but nothing's really essential. With that being said, come to sit cross-legged. So I am actually going to sit on my blanket for this purpose. And let's start with the left shin in front. So come into a Sukasana here, so a real crisscross at the middle of your shin rather than being kind of open, just to really kind of get the feet directly underneath your knees. And that might take a little bit of fidgeting. It might need a little bit of like readjustment of the hips. And again, this is where a blanket or even a block is just going to help you to elevate. Close down your eyes or just keep the gaze soft. We're just going to take a couple of unguided breaths here just to arrive. If the nose is nice and open for you today, then start to take some nice, soft and long inhales through your nose. Taking a little pause at the top and then softly exhaling through the nose. As you're sitting here, whatever you're sitting on, just think about really working to have the tailbone lifting. So if you kind of are rolling back into yourself, then just sit on more props. But we really want to get the spine nice and long, and we want almost a little bit of anterior tilt. So we want the hip bones to kind of just roll forward a little bit and the tailbone to lift. I reckon that's probably about 3 breaths. So from here, start to just walk the hands out in front of you. And if, like me, you are not the most open person straight away in the hips, feel free to just use the hands to push you back. Don't feel like you need to go flat to the kind of mat here. So if when you go flat to the mat, you kind of have this real rounding sensation, there's like certainly the place for that. But for now, we want to keep the spine pretty neutral, pretty long. It might feel nice. Oh, you okay, Burghley? It might feel nice to just sway from side to side, seeing what that feels like in your hips. Maybe even paw in the ground, just gently starting to wake up through the fingers. And then come to a little bit of stillness here. Feel free to come onto your forearms. As I said, try and keep that spine nice and long. We don't want to tuck the tailbone under here. We really want it to flick up and back. Nice, and then come hands into the center, hands behind you to change the cross. So this time, right leg is good, right shin's going to cross in front, and again try and be strict with yourself about keeping the cross at the center of the shin. Sit up nice and tall, flip that tailbone back. Notice if it's harder or easier on one side or the other, and then again you're just going to come down. Maybe you're going to paw the ground and sway side to side, maybe up onto the fingertips. If you can hear those noises, that's Burghley moving on to yet another bed she has. So she's just now making it nice and comfy for herself. Feel here where the kind of sensation is. So for me, it's in the right hip. And just notice, you know, try and maybe wiggle your way through that sensation. Slowly coming back up. Hands behind you, uncross the legs. We're just gonna let the knees just fall in and out. So kind of windscreen wiping them. And we're just trying to, I guess, like lubricate the hinge, I guess, here. Although this is not a hinge joint, but we're just trying to, I don't know, loosen up a little bit. It's also a nice little warm up for your hands. If you try and, like, you know, put a bit of weight into the hands as you're going back and forth. And just notice how the hips are feeling today. You know, it may feel different every day. I'm not sure I wake up with the same feelings in my hips every day, but who knows, maybe you do. Come up onto the fingertips and rock weight into one hand and the other again. And then coming back to stillness. From here, you're going to plant your feet to the mat. I like to have my hands pointing back, but you could have them pointing to the side. We're just setting up for a reverse tabletop. And this doesn't need to be massive. We're just warming up. So as you inhale, you're going to really lift the hips. Really feel those shoulder blades drawing together. Full shoulder retraction. Turning on the hamstring, saying hello to the lower body. And then lowering back down. From here, you can either roll over or you can just come to a tabletop. I'm just going to put my blanket to the side for now. And then on your tabletop, you know it, just taking some little wrist circles. Feet can be tucked or untucked. I like them tucked just because I feel like I get a little bit of stretch in the arches. Really grip the mat with the fingertips here. Feel free to let the lower body, the head, the neck, just everything kind of get involved here in the spine. Nice. And then flip the palms back or just take them so they're pointing out to the sides. On an inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, gaze out ahead, cow pose. Exhale through, rounding through the upper back, puffing through the shoulders, cat pose. Inhale through to cow. Notice how it feels different to isolate the shoulders here. Push through into cat. Inhale to cow. Pushing back through to cat. And coming back to center. Noticing how the wrists feel now. And then from here, you're going to take your right foot and take it to the outside of your right hand. And you can just sway backwards and forwards a bit here. I like to move that left knee back a bit. And then once you've had a couple of sways, just imagine that this left shin is like a gate. You're going to close the gate here. And you can take the right forearm onto the right thigh. And we've got kind of in this half Parsvakonasana here. And again, this is like, we're just exploring. This right hip does feel actually quite a bit more open now just from the little bit of time spent in Sukasana, but there's always places to explore. Beautiful. Hands plant, open the gate, bring that right knee back to where you got it from, and then take that left foot to the outside of the left hand. Feel free to wriggle the right knee back so that you can just gently open and close at the knee joint. And you don't need to kind of, you know, be super intense with how much you're straightening the knee. You know, we're still just kind of moving into our bodies. And then closing the gate of that right shin coming in, come up. Maybe you're going to push your left forearm into that left thigh. And again, you're just going to sway, feeling how the inside of the right thigh is feeling, the groins, the left hip. This is my more open side, so it always feels a little bit more enjoyable to work through this side than the other. Linger wherever you want to. Beautiful. Next time you rebend that left knee, open, no, close, is it open? I don't know. Bring yourself back to tabletop. I've lost my analogy for the gait there. And then from here, you're going to just push back into some sort of child's pose. So you can keep the child's pose pretty lifted as I am, or you can go deeper. Really is your choice. I'm not going to be here for long. Just notice how, with a little bit of attention on the hips here, how they're feeling versus when you first arrived at your mat. Then coming back into tabletop, the right foot will go outside the right hand again. And this time you're going to walk that left knee back a bit so that you can come into this kind of low lunge. From here, you're going to lift that left knee off the mat, really squeeze the glutes here and just rock forward and back. So you could come up onto the fingertips. Or if you stay on the wrists, it's actually a nice wrist warm up. So, you know, whatever feels good, but feel like you are kind of keeping the hips pretty level whilst really focusing on that left big toe. That's kind of like your, I guess, your lever, your cantilever going forwards and back. And then from here, bend the left knee, and then we're just going to straighten it. Exhaling to lower, inhale to straighten, work the glute, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Nice, rock forwards and back some more. Maybe you want to take the hands a bit further away from you this time. And then from here, take your right elbow down to the mat, or your right forearm, I should say, and then drop your left forearm. If this means that you are really rounding through the spine, then stay up onto the fingers, or maybe if you've got a block handy, you could pop your block there. But try and come down on the right forearm first, coming down on the side that you have the foot next to the hand is just going to help get it there basically. Stay in some stillness here, feeling out this very deep low lizard lunge. Try and keep the neck in line with the spine. And then lower the knee, hands underneath you, bring the right knee back to meet the left, coming back into that tabletop, and then sitting back into whatever child's pose feels nice for you in these moments. So you could maybe rock forwards and back. Plant the hands, and then left foot outside of left hand. Wiggling the right knee back. And then from here, we're going to lift that right knee. Feel free to sway around here, moving the hips forwards and back, side to side, using this as a further wrist warm up by planting the hands or just coming up onto the fingertips. It's your choice. Keep using that right big toe as kind of like the control of the movement. And then we're going to lower and lift the knee again. So on your exhale, lowering the right knee, inhale to lift, engage the glutes. Lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift. Feel that right hamstring work. Lower, lift, and lower to lift. Nice job. Left forearm down to the mat or to the block, or stay up on the hands. You want to just feel like the spine can be like in a nice position here and not overly rounding. You want to feel some extension through that right leg. Feel free to take some sways forward and back off that right big toe. And then when you're ready, you're going to drop that right knee, hands come back underneath you, and the left foot, or left knee I should say, will come back to meet the right. This time take the knees nice and wide and come back into kind of a wide child's pose. You don't have to go all the way down. It's totally your call. But just notice, for me, I've already managed to now build a little bit of heat and awareness in the hips, in the hamstrings. From here, come back to that tabletop just one more time, or one more round. We're going to take that right foot outside the right hand, lifting back up, and then rocking forwards and back. Nice. This time we're just going to reach the right arm up and around, taking a bit of a twist. Nothing major here. Oh wow, there's a really big cobweb hanging down from the ceiling. Nice. Plant that right hand, and then springing off the back toe, you're going to step that left foot to the outside of the left hand. Now for this first active squat, feel free to use the forearms pressing on the inside of the legs, just to really help kind of open up and engage. And then come into a little bit of stillness, active squat. Exhale, stand, squeeze the glutes. Inhale to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, sink back low, active squat. Hands to the mat. Step your right knee down into that tabletop and step your left knee down. Shake out the hips a little bit and then step the left foot forward, tucking the back toes and just rocking a little bit, front to back again. Feel free to, find movement here. And then planting the right hand, we're just going to take a bit of a twist. Nothing crazy. Try and keep the hips going forward and low. Planting that left hand, you're going to spring off that right big toe, right foot to the outside of the right hand into that active squat. Exhale to stand, draw it in. Inhale, lift up, look up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to active squat. Inhale, hands to the mat. This time you're going to step back to your plank pose, reaching forward, either hold here or take a full push up, and then dropping the knees but back towards the heels, drop the forearms, slide through, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Push back, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Nice. First down dog for me today, so if it is for you, feel free to just feel this out. And then come to a little bit of stillness. Right leg's going to reach up nice and high, springing off the left foot. Trying to keep the right knee close to you, drop the right foot to the outside of the right hand, lower the back knee down. Inhale for a twisted lizard lunge. And exhale, hands back to the mat. Lift the back knee up. Have a little bit of a shake again. Nice. Then from here, plant that right hand right on the inside of the right leg and drop the back heel down. Don't worry about the foot position too much here. Inhale, lift that left arm up. So really think about here. You can come up onto the right thigh with the right forearm for side angle, but really we want that turning through the chest. And we want to feel engaged through the lower body. So, lift the hands off, and if they feel like your hand is keeping you upright, try and turn on the legs a little bit more to take a little bit of the activity, I guess. We want to feel this in the lower body, as well as opening through the chest. Reach the top arm up and over if that feels nice. Nice, and then the left hand is going to come down. From here, all 10 toes are going to turn towards the right, setting up for high horizon lunge. Inhale, sweep that right arm up. Maybe taking it onto a diagonal. Feel like you could really turn so much with the hips that that left hip is stacked directly under your right. Nice work. Taking that right hand back to the mat, all 10 toes face the front of the mat. Again, we're going to spring off the left foot, come into squat position, and then inhale to active squat. Exhale to stand. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands through the center, active squat. Inhale, hands to the mat. This time, step or jump back. Hold your plank or take a push-up. And then take your vinyasa, dropping knees and forearms and coming into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And then pushing back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, left leg high, 3-leg dog. Use the spring of your right foot to take that left foot to the outside of your right hand. Drop the the left foot to the outside of your left hand. Drop your left knee down and take a twisted lizard lunge. See if you can send the hips forward here. And exhale, left hand back down, lift the back knee, little bit of a shimmy forwards and back. And then you're going to plant your left hand, turn your right foot down, setting up for that side angle Parsvakonasana. So think about sending the left knee wide while wrapping the left butt cheek underneath you. Inhale, sweep that right arm up to the sky. Side angle. Take the weight out of the left hand if it's there. Try to use the strength of the legs. You can take that right arm into a diagonal, turning through the upper body, opening through the left hip and scooping the tailbone under you. Nice. And then slowly plant the right hand, all 10 toes, turn to the left, sweep up, high horizon lunge. You can reach the top arm up, and then you can take it into a diagonal if you like, but just really think about lifting through the hips. Nice. Exhale, left hand plant. Stepping forward, right foot outside right hand, active squat. Feel really open here. Exhale, stand, draw it in. Inhale, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, back down, active squat. Inhale, hands to the mat, step or jump back to plank. And then take a full push-up or a half push-up. And then everyone drop the knees and forearms. And come in, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let's keep it going. Right leg high, 3-leg dog. Use the spring of that left leg to send the right foot outside the right hand. This time, drop the left heel down straight away. Come into that side angle, Parsvakonasana. Organize yourself here. Don't worry about the foot positioning too much, but think about really trying to drive the right heel back towards you and lift through the inner arch of that left foot. Left hand can come up and over if that feels nice. Looking up to the top hand or down to the bottom hand, your choice. Nice. From here, drop the left hand, spin all 10 toes. You're going to have to roll over that left foot. All 10 toes go to the right. High horizon lunge. Reaching through the top arm to lift the hips. Inhale here. Exhale. You can feed that right arm underneath the left. All 10 toes face the left. Coming in to a wide leg forward fold. Rearrange the feet here. You might feel like you could go wider than you usually would this early or at this stage of your practice, and that's just probably because we've done so much in the lower body. Feel free to drop the forearms. Feel free to sway forwards and back. and keep lifting through the inner arches. So if you can't feel the outside of your feet, kind of like the right outer foot, the left outer foot, then just bring the feet a bit closer in and really try to draw up through your kneecaps. You want to feel like you can suction cup up through the inner arches of your foot, or your feet, I should say. Nice. If you want to invert from here, you could take, obviously you could take a headstand, or you could take a handstand, your choice. And really anyone will do. So if you want to take a bound headstand or a tripod, either way, feel free to do that. Now maybe you're going to keep the legs nice and wide. Wherever you are. Be here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and slow lower on 1. With control. Lift the head and chest if they were towards the floor, and then turn back. Hands to the top of the mat, roll over the left toes. And then spring off your left toes, left foot outside a left hand, come into that active squat. Exhale to stand, inhale to lift up. Exhale back to active squat. Inhale, hands to the mat, step or jump to your Vinyasa. Be mindful with your Vinyasa. Work through the movement with the breath. Pushing back to down dog. Left leg high, 3-leg dog. And then springing off the right foot to bring the left foot outside the left hand. From here, drop the back heel down straight away and then come into that side angle Parsvakonasana. So again, think about driving down through that left heel to pull it back and then lifting through the inner arch of that right back foot. Feel the outer side of the right foot. And then take the right arm up and over into a diagonal if that feels good. Keep turning through the upper body here. Nice. On your exhale, plant your right hand down. Roll over the right foot, all 10 toes. Face the left, reach up, high horizon. Scoop the right hip under you to lift the left hip higher. Inhaling here. On your exhale, feed your left arm underneath your right. All 10 toes spin to face the right side of your mat. And then you can fold down here. You could take the hands to the ankles if that feels nice and use it to just bring the head down towards the mat. Again, you could take any inversion really from here, your choice. If you want to take traditional headstand, that's cool. If you wanted to take a handstand from here, that's also cool. Maybe you just keep the legs in this kind of wide V shape. So yours might look more like a wide split than mine. But wherever you are, just be here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and slowly come back down on 1. Inhale to lift through the chest. Exhale to come back, squaring off, rolling, or just readjusting that right foot completely. Left foot outside the left hand. Spring to the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Come into active squat. Exhale to stand. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reach up. Exhale, hands through the center, active squat. Inhale, hands to the mat, step or jump. Full push-up or half. Dropping knees and forearms. Coming into upward facing dog. And exhale, pushing back. Downward facing dog. Take your right leg nice and high here. Come high onto the ball of your left toes, and then take that right foot to the right thumb, turning all 10 toes to the right. And then from here, this is where I quite like my blanket actually, we're going to just walk the hands back through the legs and slowly lower down onto our butt. And the blanket just makes it a little bit nicer. So from here, readjust yourself, come into this wide leg place. Just notice if the feet are kind of caving inwards. Try to have them pointing up or slightly pointing out so that the legs are either in kind of wide and neutral or rolling out. We just don't want them rolling in here. And then feel free to just sway from side to side. This might feel nice if it doesn't usually. It really depends how open you are in the hips here. And feel free to just sway over from one side to another. You can point and flex the toes. And then you can find a little bit of stillness. If you want to catch opposite hand, if you want to catch your ankles with your hands and just use that to take you a little bit deeper, then you can. Remember to keep flicking the tailbone back, exactly the same as in Sukasana. Beautiful. Coming up to a seat, and then take that left foot on the inside of the right thigh there. Flex the toes. Inhale, reach up tall. Try and find length through the side body. And then as you exhale, see if you can just send yourself over to the right. Nice. Try and keep the spine long. So imagine you're trying to get your kind of collarbones up and over your big toe rather than your nose to your knee, if that kind of makes sense. Nice. Stay here, or you can come into a kind of figure of 4 or like a half lotus. So half lotus, you're going to first bring the knee into the chest. My teacher is really obsessed with this being the first thing you do, just to protect the knee. Then you're going to turn to open that knee and then hook yourself into that half lotus place. And you can stay here or you could fold. You could also take a bind here, but we haven't really done a lot of kind of opening through the upper body for the bind. So I think like if that feels really available to you, feel free to. But if not, you're just gonna fold. And if the half lotus doesn't work, come into the figure of 4. So there's something here to be found in this posture. 2 more breaths here. Slowly come up, switching sides, so let that left leg go wide, and then bring your right, and I'm right foot into the left thigh. I was like thinking and speaking at the same time, which isn't good. If you like, I'm still on the blanket, so you can make this really high by adding maybe more or less, just because it's just going to help you get up and over yourself with your hips, especially if you struggle to sit up like really tall. And then from here, reaching up through the arms, inhale, side body long. Exhale, sending yourself over to the left. The hands can kind of be just wherever. You can also kind of go straight down the middle here as well. Like, it's really your choice. I kind of feel like it's quite nice to feel a little bit of a stretch here through the QL by coming over to the side. And this isn't a very traditional Janu Shirshasana, because traditionally that left leg would just go straight out. We've just kind of created this sort of side body stretch within it, if that's what you want. If you want to go for the half lotus again, right knee hugs into the chest. Take your left hand on your right foot, open through that hip, and then drop that right knee down. And you're really trying to work that right foot as close to the left hip as you can. Again, folding here. And you could come into that figure of 4 here too. You're just gonna really be working to open through the hip whilst feeling the stretch. So just whatever is gonna work for you today. Take 2 more breaths wherever you are. Burghley's still in the room. She's just out of shot and she's snoring so loudly. I'm not sure if you'll hear her, but it always comes quite soothing to me to hear a dog sleep. So slowly come up and then release that right leg. And then from here, you're just gonna come onto the mat again if you're off it and come down onto your back. So just roll your way down. And then I'm gonna take Supta Baddha Konasana here. I'm actually gonna put the blanket underneath my feet to just give it a little bit of height. So soles of the feet together, knees flaring out to the side, you're just letting them fall. And then I'm going to take my arms up and over for this one, but you can take whatever Shavasana is calling you. Let yourself just relax here. Whilst the class was not fast, it certainly wasn't easy. So, you know, let yourself now just chill. Stay here for as long as you have available. This is where I will leave you and Burghley. As always, it's such a lovely privilege to be able to practice with you here on YouTube. And thank you for a lovely practice. Until next time, thank you, Yogi.